Hey, it's another beautiful day, and it's great to be with you. It's the day before Palm Sunday, and we're moving into the last week of Lent. And I've really been thinking about my faith and what does that mean to me. And I hope you've had the opportunity to dive into your faith as well and figure out what you believe and why you believe it, and draw closer to God. And one of the things that struck me was I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about they were getting a haircut. And I'm like, that's awesome, And they were like very excited because it was going to change their look and give them a new, persona out there in our society. And I was like, you know what? I need a haircut too. My wife has been telling me I need a haircut. It's awful. It's long. Yeah, right. There's a lot of product in this thing holding it together right now. It's gotten long. And she's like, yeah, we need to get that haircut. I'm like, okay, let's try to get it cut before Easter. That would be nice to be all cleaned up for Easter Sunday. And I started thinking about that. Does my appearance determine who I am in God's sight? I mean, there was about maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I was the youth leader at an area church, and I dared the kids to raise money because we were going on a mission trip out to Arizona. And I'm like, if you raise $1,500, I'll shave my head, right? Don't you know they did it? So, boom, one day after church, my brother came in and shaved my head. Now, I thought it was awesome. My wife did not. She's like, you look like Charlie Brown. Your head's perfectly round. It's ridiculous. Don't ever do that again. Right? So people look at us from different angles and different points of view, and so does God. God doesn't look at our hair or our statue, whether I diet and lose 20 pounds, whether I wear glasses or I don't wear glasses, right? Whether I shave or I don't shave. God doesn't look at that stuff and go, boy, you know what, Joe? I would love you so much more if you got a haircut and you got contacts, and that's an awful lot of white in your beard anymore. You should probably get rid of it, right? God doesn't do that. As a matter of fact, God told the prophet Samuel when he was looking for a new king of Israel, he said, I want you to go and check out Jesse's sons in Bethlehem. And Samuel shows up, and there are some awesome looking dudes down in Bethlehem. Jesse's sons are looking incredibly strong and handsome and built right. And each one, Samuel's like, here's a great candidate. And God's like, nope, that's not it. And he goes through all of them, and there's nothing. He looks at Jesse and he says, hey, you got anybody else? He's like, yeah, I got this one kid. He's like, little kid. He's a weirdo. I put him out in the fields. He's tending sheep. He said, go get him. He brings him in. David, who becomes the greatest king in the history of Israel. You see, God looked at David's heart, and David became known as a man after God's own heart. He didn't live a perfect life. He made a lot of mistakes. He did a lot of stupid things. He opened his mouth. Stupid fell out sometimes. He did some pretty terrible things in his life. But he always turned back, and he always had God as his focal point in his life. And because of that, God rewarded him, made him the king of Israel, and he is still known to this day as the one that God chose to be the king of Israel. Don't let looks fool you. May God continue to pour out his grace, mercy, and blessings on each and every one of us until we get to meet again. Amen. Amen.